Hi, this is John Cooper and Jim Hurley, my law partner, and we want to talk to you today about personal injury 101. What do you need to have a valid or successful personal injury case? Jim, we always talk about the three-legged stool. What are the three legs of the stool?
Well, typically in regards to any type of case that you may have from a motor vehicle accident is number one, you need to have the other person at fault. Lawyers call it a liability. No one else calls it that except lawyers. So it just means that the other person was at fault because they ran a red light or they rear-ended somebody. And that's really one of the initial things. And then obviously, John, the second thing would be injuries resulting from that. So why don't you talk a little bit about the injuries?
Yeah, so when we talk about injuries from a car wreck, what we're talking about is an accident that was bad enough to require pretty much emergency care. Now, often that means an ambulance ride to the emergency room, but it can also simply mean that you went to an urgent care that day, maybe the next day. If it starts to be too many days after the accident and you've not gotten care, that's a problem. So when we say an injury, we mean an injury that was bad enough to require medical treatment, and that's typically emergency room, and then maybe they refer you for some physical therapy or something like that.
And then one of the things that many people don't understand is that the other person can be totally at fault, and you can have severe injuries, broken bones, maybe even overnight in the hospital. But the third most important thing is to have proper car insurance. And that's always a tough one to understand. John, why don't you talk a little bit about how car insurance is so important?
Yeah, so car insurance, auto insurance is what drives the train. If there isn't any, as Jim said, you can have the worst damages in the world and clear liability, but if there's no pocket to pay, then there's no way to have a successful case. And that's because most people who hit you in a car wreck aren't John Rockefeller Jr. I'm showing my age. John Rockefeller was a really rich guy. Imagine Donald Trump. So we're not usually getting rear-ended by Donald Trump. It's just some other person just like us. So we are hoping that that person is carrying car insurance. But even if the at-fault driver doesn't have it, your insurance can kick in what's called uninsured motorist coverage. And that's a whole topic for another blog. But suffice to say, you got to have all three of those legs of the stool for a successful personal injury case. Liability, meaning the other person was at fault and you weren't at fault. Number two, damages requiring treatment for your bodily injury. And three, some insurance to pay for it.
And here at Cooper Hurley Injury Lawyers, we're the car crash experts, and we have a lot of information to give. So if you ever need information, just touch base with us. Go to our webpage. It's also on our webpage. At the end of the day, we're here to help people that get injured in car wrecks.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jim. And hopefully you've enjoyed car wreck or personal injury 101. By the way, this applies in Virginia. Some other states are a little bit different. But as far as a Virginia car wreck case, that's it. You need all three legs of the stool. Thanks.